my Miss Painted Lady babes. It's your girl Alex. What's up? I wanted to bring to you a wonderful interview that I had with a prior bride, Madhuri Patel. She got married in Tulsa, Oklahoma during Memorial Weekend. She had 5 beautiful events, and she didn't hire us until 2 months before the wedding. Now, that being said, there were some twists and turns in her planning process. Different things that she experienced with a prior makeup artist that she had booked, and that kind of fell apart. And so when she came back to us, we did all we could to kind of accommodate her and make some shifts so that she didn't have to fret. Poor girl, she really needed help. And so as long as she was willing to make some sacrifices, slash, be open and to go with the flow, we were willing to make some sacrifices and bring it together and make it happen for her. So we take a very in-depth look in her experience, the twists and turns, and all that sort of thing. So I hope from some of the things that she went through that it gives you some good planning tips and tricks and kind of what to look for whenever you're hiring a hair and makeup artist. It's super important. And yeah, so take a look into our video interview, and please do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. And you can follow us on Instagram at Miss Painted Lady. And please like and share this video. Thank you. Yeah.
What had happened was, it's funny because like I remember I wanted to work with you, but like I think you were already booked out. Like when I did my first inquiry, I think my wedding was on Memorial Day weekend for 2024. So I knew I was trying to get it booked ahead of time, but I think you were already booked that weekend, or like 2 out of the 3 days or something like that was already booked.
Thursday and Sunday. Sunday was in Denver and Thursday was in Dallas. Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, let me go see if I can find someone else. I booked with someone else, and everything was good. Like I looked through the contract. I had my wedding planner look through the contract. It was for 2024. It turns out when we were trying to do our hair and makeup trial, which was already stated in the contract that it needs to be done prior to the like wedding, usually about anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks prior to the wedding. When we were trying to set that up, they were saying like, why are you trying to do it so in advance? Your wedding's not till next year. And what
That's
had
how it
happened,
happened. Oh,
that's exactly how it happened. So when we went to try to book for the hair and makeup trial, because I was also going to be out of, I live in Georgia right now, so I knew I needed to fly in for that. I That's how we found out that it was a mistake where two brides had booked and they thought that I was going to be for 2025, not 2024. The other bride had already booked in advance than me, so obviously she got the slot and I was kind of left out of making that decision. And when it came down to it, we I think reached out to like I want to say over 50 hair and makeup artists that
stop.
were, I'm
50?
not even like over 50 for sure. Like basically like email blasts, calls, anybody who knows anyone to try to see. And then when we reached back to you, your team had told me that it would work if I was okay with having someone else on Thursday, which I was like, done deal. Where do I sign? Like, I need to, like, this is literally like 8 weeks out. So I'm like, I just need hair and makeup, especially for like what I wanted to do for my hair and makeup. I needed someone that could understand as well what I was gonna do. I
And the
had a couple of
scary,
other, yeah, go ahead.
sorry, the scary part is that like I would get it if you were within this like really small budget that reaching out to 50 people, kind of casting a wider net would be a good idea. But your outfits were so extravagant, your jewelry was so just like badass, like, and then obviously like your look concepts, you're so open to like color and fun and drama. That's like it's not something you could trust to just anybody, like the aesthetic piece.
Correct. I think I ran into like I had like out of the 50, like I actually had a couple people reach back. They're like, we can do it, blah, blah, blah. But the problem was they're like, oh, like I only do makeup. So you have to find another hair artist. And
Yeah.
it's I'm like, okay, so now I don't want to try to look for another person because that's going to be really difficult to do. Plus, this person was also going to do my whole family as well.
Mhm.
So it wasn't just me that was left out. It's like now I need to find hair and makeup for my sisters. and my mom, my mother-in-law as well, my sister-in-law. And we even discussed like at the end of the day, I needed to find someone for myself. So even if only one person was available for me, that was fine. And then we'll find everybody else's somewhere
Separate.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hard part about hiring, and I'm glad you brought that up, actually, this isn't something I've ever spoken about publicly, but it's like it is important to be able to hire a team, someone
Mhm.
who can execute just your bridal look exclusively for that hair piece, that makeup piece, the lehenga draping, the jewelry, all of it, because well, some people will say it takes 4 hours and they'll take five or sit and then
Yeah.
you'll run late. But like when it comes to us and our timing and like executing the look, once we have your beauty concepts and your mood boards together, like I know exactly how long we need, or if we have time constraints, I know exactly how to make that look happen within this amount of time if we prep X, Y, and Z type of way. So we're really,
Absolutely.
really like adamant on the timeline of everything. But it's very hard if you hire one person who's like, yeah, I do makeup, I'm available, but I don't do hair or draping. And then you have to hire somebody else who does hair or draping that maybe they don't have any understanding of one another, they've never met. And then now you've got to worry about one, the energy in the room. Do they want to work at the same time? Do they want to work opposite times? Does somebody run late? Does this person, do they overlap? Do they have to work at the same time and
Yeah.
they can't? Like, it's just, and then sometimes, artists can be sensitive. It's like if somebody's getting stepping on top of the other's toes or whatever in that space, it's like awkward,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, no, I
that's
completely
strange.
understand.
Yeah, that's strange. So okay, so we had our team make arrangements to do your Mendy, wasn't it your Mendy night look Thursday?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they did your Mendy night because I couldn't be there. And then I got in at midnight, technically Friday morning,
literally.
and then started you at 4 a.m. Friday morning, on like a
Yeah.
couple hours of sleep. And then did you again that evening for the Sangeet, right? We did Haldi
Yeah.
Sangeet. Saturday morning was the ceremony, Saturday evening
Mhm.
was the reception, and then Saturday evening,
You flew
the
out.
agreement the agreement was I have to have you wrapped by like whatever time, 5:30, because I have to head straight to the airport to get to Denver.
Correct.
So you're gonna do that in advance. But then if you're okay with talking about this, I know that there was like, didn't the priest go rogue? Like the Holy Ghost hit him and he was like, had y'all glued to the stage. So that
Yeah, like he
really,
was just taking his sweet time, and it was also like he was like, you have to do it the right way, so it's gonna take a little longer. And I'm like, I understand, but like I am on a time crunch here.
yeah,
Like everybody is waiting to like get started to like prep for the reception and
yeah.
for makeup for the reception, and everybody like the timeline I think was off by like I think like a solid hour. So
It
we were
moved
just
to a
like,
solid hour, right? It changed
yeah,
by an hour on,
yeah.
yeah, the priest time. Yeah, girl, he was feeling it. But so and then I know also that ceremony morning,
Hmm.
who came to you? Was it your mom?
It was my mother.
And I'm like, man, I wish you didn't share that information with her. But mom came in, bless her heart.
And
She was like not a mess or anything. She just was like, I just want to let you know that what is it, the fridge truck?
yeah, the fridge truck was not working. So like a lot of the reception food had gone bad
And the flowers, right?
from
Like she thought the
um,
garlands.
yeah, the garlands and stuff like that had gone bad too because it was just obviously it's the wedding was in Oklahoma, so that heat was just like killing off the flowers sitting in
Yeah.
a truck with like no windows or anything like that.
Oh my gosh.
Um, so I'm lucky in the sense that I already told myself nothing can ruin my day. So I was like very calm. I had talked to my husband and we had talked about we already had garlands from like the day before and stuff like that. I'm like, I'm okay with using those if you're okay with
Is
that.
that what y'all
Luck
did?
no, luckily our garlands somehow did survive. Like it would we just had to like peel a lot of the petals off of it.
Yeah.
But like other than that, like you couldn't tell it was ruined or anything like that. But like the top layer of the flowers were definitely you can tell they were like
Wilted
wilting
and
a little
brown.
bit.
That's
So like
fine.
what we did was like we just soaked it in water and then peeled off like the
That's so
top
cool.
layers and then like just kind of like dried it off and like really tried to pat it dry before we wore them.
You soaked the entire garland in water,
Not all of them, just like the bottom of it. The bottom of it was
like the
really
part that hangs
damaged.
down at the bottom.
Yeah. So we still have
What?
that
Who had
part to
that
kind of,
idea?
what was that?
Who had that idea?
I think my wedding planners or someone like in my family or someone was like, this is gonna be fine. Like, this is nothing to worry about. This is like easily fixed. And I was like, I trust you. Let's just go for it.
They really were gorgeous. I was wondering how you guys came up with a garland that was like entirely like
Nope, they
built
were
from
the
scratch.
original ones. Luckily, we were able to salvage a lot of things, and even for like the reception food, it was majority of like the meats that were like obviously we couldn't use
You
because
were
we were
not
like,
gonna chance it, yeah.
yeah. So luckily, like when all the grocery stores opened in the morning, like people just did like a lot of the hotel staff helped out as well. They just kind of made runs and got whatever the caterers needed to get started and then just like kind of prep from there. And we didn't have anything from our reception food missing, which was great
Good.
menu. So they
And
were
it,
able to get they were in overdrive, but they got it to work.
yeah, good. I mean, everybody kind of pivoted really well. And I know in the schedule, since that was an issue, and I know I feel like mom and sis already went first initially anyway, because it's really important
Mhm.
for those main family members to be available for getting ready shots and whatever else you may need. But I know that like my team like cranked it out quickly so that they could get out of the chair and go manage damage control that. So that's great.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of what else. Now, as far as you sitting in the chair at that moment that mom came to you, initially, obviously, you're going to have an initial reaction where you're trying to digest that information. At any point where you like panicked at all? Because I know I was like, you know what? It's okay. It's going to be okay. Like, this is what
Um,
you're here early for. This is what your planners are for. They're going to take care of it. Like, don't even stress, my friend. Like, it's going to be
I
fine.
think that kind of was just like I was also sleep deprived, so I was just laughing in the moment. And then when my husband found out, he was just like, "How are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm fine. How are you?" And he's like, "Well, like we can literally order a lot of Mexican pizzas from Taco Bell
Get
and
that.
like whatever everybody wants." So like our second plan was like every restaurant that we like, we're just gonna cater. Like we're just gonna order everything.
I
That
love
was
that.
our pivot moment.
Yeah.
But luckily it worked out because by even like I never knew what had happened until like if it was going to be fixed, are we going to need to
Yeah.
order food, what was going to happen until after the ceremony, and they're like, nope, they're doing great. Like they were also running about like 45 minutes behind, so they're like, your reception food still will be there, it might be just a little late. And I was like, that's fine, people
That's
will.
insane. Only 45
So we
minutes
had like
after
a
the
little
ceremony.
longer, yeah, and we just had a little longer cocktail hour, which I don't think anybody
Fine.
complained about.
No, it's always, I have a lot of brides whenever we do the phone consultation, we're initially talking for the first time and we're kind of running through the timeline. If they're doing a ceremony reception same day and they're like, yeah, I'm thinking the cocktail hour is going to be like 5:30. And I'm like, that is a really early cocktail hour because everybody's like
Yeah,
napping, especially if you're doing it at the hotel venue.
yeah,
Everybody's napping in between, they're hanging out, eating lunch. Like nobody's going to go get ready that early and get to the cocktail hour.
yeah,
And then you're wasting all that food and you know what I mean? So, especially if you have like, I don't know, like a live or like three-string quartet or quartet,
yeah,
that wouldn't be a three-string or three. Would it be? No, a quartet would be four. Anyway, you know what I mean, like entertainment or what
yes.
have you. And so to push it to later, I think is realistic. And if anything, just to start it earlier and extend it is a really good thing. But I'm surprised 45 minutes, I feel like is a really good turnaround to pivoting for such drama from running late an hour from the ceremony, from the priest catching the Holy Ghost to the truck situation and running late with the food. I feel like
Yeah.
they pretty much caught up on time for the most part,
Yeah.
if you think
Yeah,
about
no, they actually did catch up on time because I think like so we had like the refrigerator truck, but we also had like the hotel fridge as well. So a lot of it was still in the
it. Oh yeah.
hotel fridge.
Yeah.
And then we had a lot of things in the refrigerator as well. So that's why like our day of ceremony food was not gone because it was in the hotel fridge
Oh,
from
that's
what I understand. So that's why it was like, or that probably been would have been even a bigger issue because that's even shorter amount of time to
oh,
prep.
100%. Now that I was like, oh man, that was just like so auspicious that you guys chose to put the ceremony stuff inside the hotel because that saved the day. Had it been reversed, it would have been that would not have been good. We're not even talking about it. What was significant to you as a bride whenever you were kind of mapping out in your head what you wanted with your look concepts?
I think the one thing I really wanted for all of my looks were I wanted them to be completely different from one from the other.
Mhm.
Even when I was picking my outfits, that was like a big thing. Like I really wanted colorful, but I wanted even all my blouses for each of my outfits were different. Like I had like a halter top from one of them. I had a sleeve, like a one strap. I had a quarter sleeve. I had a long sleeve. Like I really wanted to
And you
even
had
have,
thigh slit.
I had a thigh slit, everything. I wanted like every look to be very unique and different.
Yeah.
And I love playing with color and especially like eyeshadow is my favorite thing in the world. So I was like, that's how I can like show my personality a little bit, like by choosing different colors. And also it's like your only day to be like crazy and outrageous and kind of stick out from the crowd. So I was like, I want to do all of that.
I love that you did that because I feel like so many of our brides do clean classic, which is totally fine, but it also doesn't mean that you have to rely on being safe and boring, right? You can do fun
Yeah,
things. And remember when I was like, your sister's not letting me do anything like crazy? She said all neutrals, and I did convince her to do some color, which is awesome. But yeah, no, I love that you're willing to have fun with it. And the thing with like, Indian weddings is that you're not doing a dupatta on your head except for the ceremony. So
exactly.
it's like it is harder to stand out as a bride in that crowd because everybody's already in their gold and their diamonds and their saris and they're looking on point. And so it is a little
Really, yeah.
harder. And you definitely want somebody who has like that finesse, who's able
Mhm.
to execute, make you stand out, look like the bride without looking like I've been saying lately a Christmas tree, like looking like
True.
you're doing too much. And so
Yes.
yeah, it's like you gotta have that like this right here, like chef's kiss, the sauce.
Yes.
And
No, but
so yeah.
exactly. And I really wanted to like I already knew for my wedding outfit, I really wanted to go traditional. I didn't want to play around with color too much or anything like that. I wanted to be like a traditional bride. That's why all the other looks I really wanted to be bold and speaking
Mhm.
out loud because I think my outfits were so colorful that if I just would have done like a gold eyeshadow or a silver eyeshadow, I think it would have been like very muted in
Yeah.
what like my makeup was gonna be.
And like you said, with the ceremony, doing the more traditional red bride and the big bold jewelry and stuff, like I feel like the outfit and the jewelry and the fact that you did an updo clean out of your face
Hmm.
definitely was statement enough. And it definitely
Yeah.
was on that more classic traditional side. And that was bridal. And so whenever you're trying to be bridal and have fun elsewhere, again, you don't have the debut on your head and stuff. And so it's
Hmm.
like if you're the main attraction, like, well, just finding those interesting creative ways to make sure that the eyes are still on you, like you're still the focal point.
Yeah,
I love
definitely.
that. Yay. Okay, so let's dive into your actual look concepts and how we built them. I don't think because it was only 2 months before you booked us, like I think you already had everything stylistically selected, right? Jewelry, outfits. You never leaned on us for any styling help, right?
No, because I had already picked everything out. I already had my jewelry. I kind of already had a concept in my head of how I wanted to look. I just didn't know if it was going to be executed or anything like that, or if there was going to be any problems with like timing and things like that.
Yeah. So okay, so whenever we let's see, hold on, I selected Okay, so do you remember how we built out your actual mood boards in our consultation process? Can you walk brides through what that looked like for you?
Yeah, so because I probably am like the opposite of all your other brides because I had such a
That's not
short
true.
amount of time. I remember we had because we were going to be meeting in Cancun for my sister's wedding, we kind of like just delved in like when we had a little free moment just to kind of talk about like my wedding and stuff like that. It was like probably 10 minutes and you had told me like after the wedding's over, text me like you how many events, like what kind of outfits you're gonna be wearing, your jewelry, send me those pictures and then like if you have any pictures or inspo of like how you want to look for those days. So what I did was I kind of did that. I exactly mapped out the days, what outfits I'm going to be wearing, what my outfit colors were going to be, the jewelry for it. And then I kind of like sent you a text message saying like for example, wedding, I said clean, updo, small bun, um, and neutral makeup, very timeless. And then I think I said for the Sunki welcome party, I said bold, loud. My outfit's purple. That's my favorite color. So I want that to be incorporated with kind of a half up, half down look. And then for even like my Mendy, I wanted to have a big braid in the back, but I told you I was like, I don't know how it's gonna look with my like face because I've never had something like a big bold braid just like going down the back of my shoulders kind of thing. So I think we just kind of like talked it out and then you sent me a lot of pictures. You're like, are you like leaning towards A or B or like neither? And then I would tell you, I'm like, oh, I love this or I like the color this person's eyeshadow versus this person's eyeshadow.
Yeah, that was so good. That was such a good recap. So once I sent you like 10 different ideas for concepts and like just heart what you like, and then once we get
Yes.
there, and we start to kind of be more selective and narrow it down, then I'll build out a mood board. And then once we're able to kind of swipe through a mood board, like maybe we'll have 2 or 3 different concepts per event. Look, I feel like for Mandy, we had 2 or 3 different braid styles that we were
Yeah.
considering. And I think makeup we were pretty set on. And I think for the Sangeet, we had 2 different makeup options, but I think we were pretty set on the hairstyle. So just
Yes.
things like that. It helps you be a lot more decisive whenever you can kind of like seeing one photo and thinking like, is this gonna go cute with my outfit? I don't know. But when you see the outfit, the jewelry, the makeup, the hair, and you're able to swipe between 2 or 3 different options, it makes you a lot more decisive about like, this
Yeah.
makes sense to my brain. I love that. And this one, like, I thought I loved that when the individual photo was there, but now that I see it all together, it's not telling a story in the way that
Yeah.
I felt like, it should. So,
Definitely.
did you find the visual piece and our guidance super helpful? And how did you feel going into each event look without ever having held a trial?
I felt good because I think obviously you have worked with a lot of my friends already.
Mhm.
Plus, you had just worked with my sister. So I kind of already knew I have gone to watch you do makeup for like other people. So I kind of already knew how it was going to be. All my friends and my sister said it was like relaxing. It was like talking to a girlfriend. You were like taking their mind off of like really like the stress of the day kind of thing. And plus, like most Indian brides are sleep deprived. So that's a whole different concept in itself. So I think I was really okay with going into the makeup, hair and makeup without a trial because I think we had already discussed everything to a T that I knew that nothing was going to change. Like you weren't going to all of a sudden be like, I think we're going to change your eyeshadow color to this color instead
The
of this
black.
color. Yeah, like to black. Or like there was no big difference or change that occurred throughout the day.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it was like, okay, like I already know what I'm expecting. And so
Yeah.
when I like finally get done and look in the mirror, it's exactly what I'm going to be envisioning.
Yeah. And also disclaimer to any of the folks that are watching this, she also is in aesthetics. So her
Yes.
skin and her access to skincare and laser and treatments is endless. And so she
Yeah.
obviously has super beautiful on point skin and
Thank
bone structure and all
you.
that. So that in and of itself, again, was like the sauce. I mean, it's perfect and laid. But I had you been an NPL bride longer,
Yeah.
regardless of your experience, because I don't ask what is your occupations. I have no way of knowing. I go through
Yeah.
the skincare at home maintenance with every single bride, as well as their skin goals slash skin concerns. So we would have addressed that because for me, like, yeah, you could sit down in my chair and I could likely color correct and do this, that, da, 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 but I can't cover texture to an extent, especially if you have like prior acne scarring and you turn, you rotate like, and there's lights on it, or the editing is like
Mhm.
dark and moody. Like I cannot do anything about that. I
Yeah.
can spackle and paste to an extent, but ultimately it's still your skin. So we do like the at-home maintenance for like 12 to 18 months. But fortunately, I was so blessed that you have
Yes,
access
I
to
was
that.
telling you, I think I was like, I started my skincare journey, even like at work, I was like a year out, like making sure I'm getting like my hydrofacials and doing chemical peels when I needed
Yeah.
to, not trying anything new,
Yeah.
like for
Nothing
to age
abrasive.
out before the wedding and things like that, just like maintaining everything.
And I love that. And I'm just so glad that you knew that and that again, don't try anything. Your skin was already acclimated, so that doing it up to the day of worked fine. But
Yes,
just so many brides trying new things, just like a no-go, and doing abrasive things 30 to 60 days out is also a no-go. So your skin was perfect. We have 10
thank
minutes
you.
left, just FYI. So I do want to ask, do you have a
Mhm.
favorite look?
I think, okay, obviously, like being a bride, like you always look forward to like your wedding day look. So I think that was obviously like my favorite like traditional look, but I think my craziest look, I think my favorite craziest look was probably I would have to say Sangeet or Welcome Party just because that's my favorite color. So seeing like
Yeah,
purple on my eyes and just like the whole look and never doing hair that big too, like having big voluminous hair. I think that was like really fun to look at because I was just like, this is so out of my wheelhouse. Like
yeah,
even because I wanted to be bold, but I was like, I've never done this, like being bold but also scared at the same time because I'm like, how
yeah.
is it gonna look? Like, am I gonna look crazy? Or is this like everyone's gonna be like, wow, like you look great.
Well,
And
and
me feeling that way.
you are a tiny person, so to do big voluminous hair has to be done tastefully and it has to be very custom to like your shape and your silhouette. So doing like a giant bouffant would not have worked, but just where we placed the vault and your hair
Yeah.
got big. I was very surprised because it's kind of like got a
Yeah,
fine.
it got really
It
big.
got big. I was very proud of your hair. I was so happy with it. But yeah, I mean, I was on the edge of my seat waiting to see what you would say because obviously for me, ceremony two, your skin just was like, on point, glowing, cheekbones were popping, like everything was on point, looked so flawless. And I do love the tradition's sake, like of what we did and the
Yeah.
giant long till doesn't it say till death do us part or something on the back? So
It
sick.
was like the good, the bad, and everything
The
in
good, the bad, and everything in
between.
between, and that's like
Yeah.
it was just like such a Hailey Bieber moment. I love that, and then the venue that you had it at was so sick with the golden hour being on you, that gorgeous skin. Like, yes, that was it for me. But I was on the edge of my seat, like thinking, what are you gonna say? And you said welcome dinner or Sangeet, and I was like wondering if it was gonna be like between reception and Sangeet or something. So
Oh,
I
it was definitely like reception for me was like
hot,
a fun look because again, like I had told you, I didn't want, and no shade to any girls who do it. I just don't think I would have looked good in Hollywood.
yeah,
Well, Hollywood, I don't even know what to call it. Like just those
waves,
ways. I
yeah,
just don't think that look would have looked good for me.
yeah.
And so I remember telling you, like, I think I want it in a ponytail because I love dancing. I want something out of the way. I don't want to keep like whipping my hair and it's just like everywhere. So I think that was another thing for me. I had never seen a girl like I've been to so many weddings and I've never seen a bride wear her hair up.
Hmm.
Usually they wear it down. It's the most relaxed look. And I
Yeah.
feel like for me that look was relaxed too, but I just needed it up and away
You were
from me.
snatched for the gods though, like it gave you that like fox eye look, which you already have, but I mean, it snatched your brows, it snatched your eyes, and like it just allowed all that glow, all that illumination, like all that
Mhm.
to stand out. And also for the slit on your leg, good suggestion to you
Yeah.
that we carried the glow down there. And I've had people be like, what was that you used? I'm like, don't you worry, I got the recipe, but like people love that. So that was such
No,
a
that's like when I remember that was such a last minute thing. I was like,
fun,
hey, I've always wanted my like legs to look shiny.
yeah,
Like you were packing up and I
J-Lo,
was like, is there anything we can do to
yeah.
this? And you just slapped it on. And then like the pictures just picked it up beautifully because like that
Even
glow just hit.
even in the dark, moody bar, as dark as it was, there's very little lighting actually on you. And you're like
Yeah.
bouncing your leg, like your crossed leg up and down. And it's just like shing, shing, shing. It was like so reflective. I just was like, yes. Honestly, I don't know why I wouldn't have thought of it because I'm always very adamant, especially if it's close to the face and we've added, aesthetic glow here. It needs to be continuous throughout, especially the backs of the shoulders when you're posing stuff. It needs to be continuous. And so like, I'm so glad I don't get a lot of slits,
But
so
that was also because like I also had a long sleeve on, so you probably were
yeah.
like, oh, like you don't need anything because it's
Yeah,
covered up,
yeah,
like and
yeah,
like even like we did it to my neck. I remember we went down
yeah.
to my V neck and everything like that. But like when I did the slit, I was just like, I've always seen like that was like my Hollywood moment because
Oh,
like
yeah.
every the Hollywood hair, and I was like, I want the legs.
It's very red carpet to have your legs, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like very, very J-Lo. What was your favorite part about being an NPL bride?
I think my favorite part because I was only for like 8 weeks, it
2 months,
was like 2 months. It was
but now
um,
forever.
it was not stressful. Like once we picked up on it, I think we moved really fast, but really efficiently as well. You also knew like I had my sister's wedding, so I was like I can't really focus on myself until her wedding's done. And then I will text you everything you need for like my looks and everything like that. But like rest assured, like I have everything already that I need. It's just like I need someone to execute it. So I think that was like the most relaxing part is like going in knowing that like even with the short amount of time, like I looked amazing.
And we were able to work at your pace, like what you needed at
Yeah,
the time.
yeah, definitely.
Good point. Good point. Okay. Is there anything that you want to share with the viewers about, booking your hair and makeup team? Just any tips, tricks?
I think my biggest tip would be when you're booking, I always knew what kind of looks I wanted after I had gotten my outfits
Mhm.
and the jewelry I have gotten. So I think for brides to be, I think it's really good to have a map of yourself, like what kind of look you're looking for. Like what colors are you thinking about wearing? So that already gives you kind of an idea of like maybe what kind of look you want to do and be bold. Don't think of like doing the same look for each day. Kind of switch it up a little bit. Play with a little color, whether it's with your eyes or your lips or just with your outfits. I think the biggest thing is it's your day and have fun with it.
100%. And obviously, when it comes to selecting your hair and makeup artist, I think finding somebody who can play into, what your kind of conceptual taste is.
Yeah,
Like you said,
yeah,
if you like to be able to do color, but you want it tasteful and you don't want it loud, you want it bold, but you don't want it loud, because there is a difference in the
yeah. I
execution.
think the biggest thing is also like I truly believe in like energy as well. If someone's like gonna match your energy, it's
Um,
gonna really help make your day super easy. And even the whole MPL team, even though I only got to work with them for like Mendy night, like I was so happy with how like my look came out. And that was like the first time we met. We had never talked prior to that. So really like knowing like just from the concept of like what kind of look I was looking for when I needed to be done and ready to go, and having those pictures taken where they're showing like my hair and stuff like that. I wouldn't have ever thought of that just because I'm in like thinking about 500 other things. But
mhm.
now looking back, those are my favorite pictures because now I can show people, I'm like, this is how my hair looked like, and this is
Yeah.
how long it took. So you could do it too for your day if you're trying to map out, like, hey, is this even plausible?
Rushing or what have you, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think it's a good point to hit on the team because you got a ton of your family got a ton of services with us between
Yeah.
all 5 events. And so
Yes.
yeah, the team was able to accommodate a lot of last minute requests.
Yes.
People running late or not wanting to go in the morning spot, trying to change last minute. So
Or not
really
having like
validating that.
knowing like what concept they're looking for, like
Yeah.
kind of just coming in being like, I have no idea what I want to do with my hair or makeup today.
Yeah, and guiding them through it, and especially in
Mhm.
such a small time frame, doing 30-minute makeup and 30-minute hair and a 3-hour
Yes,
schedule at 4 or 5 a.m. So yeah, we
yes.
were able to kind of roll with the punches a little bit. So yay! Oh my gosh. Well, you are the best. Thank you so much for taking your time to
Thank
speak with me
you.
today. I miss you and your sister and your
I
family.
miss you too.
So yeah, Madhuri and I, after we wrapped our call, we completely ran out of time. Much, true to the two of us, we kept chit chatting. But so we ran out of time. The Zoom video ended, and so I gave her a call, and we kind of wrapped up our call. She mentioned two really good points that I want to have her back out for a part two. But basically, just to recap it so that I can remember kind of vividly what she said is, Alex, one of the things that I should have touched on in this interview that I, failed to is how responsive you guys were. She said, I have a lot of friends in the Atlanta area that are probably going to be hiring you soon because there's a ton of really talented artists here locally. But the problem is that they'll reach out and then they'll be like, hey, it's been 2 weeks and they still haven't said anything. They said they would get back to me by tomorrow. And she said, unprompted, she said, and you guys always responded within 24 hours. And guess what? With our administrative team, our beauty concierge, it is absolutely Monday through Thursday, you're responded to within a 24-hour window. And that being said, our admin, shout out to our admin. She is the best ever. She is just really on top of it even all weekend long. So a lot of times you won't even have to wait on the weekend to get a response. And so that was one of the things. And she said also our level of communication, how thorough it was. Like, I'm inquiring and I'm getting specifically the detailed information that I need, that I'm seeking, that I'm asking for. And you're not giving me the runaround. And, that she said some of her friends are still coming back to her and being like, dude, we inquired and we are not getting the actual response to what we're asking. And it's frustrating. And so anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this in-depth look into Madhuri's experience. Because she is just like super chill vibes. Now, granted, she did still have stressful moments, and like, I think overall her outlook and her groom's outlook of them both being like, look, we're getting married. That's number one most important thing. We have each other, and like nothing that we experience this weekend is going to rob us of that. And we're just gonna have the purest of hearts and just relax and enjoy ourselves. And despite some of the disastrous things that this, you know, couple went through, I think that them having the right perspective, the right outlook, like, hey, the two of us, this is what matters, this is what we're celebrating, this is what we're here for, and everything else we'll figure out. Even down to ordering Taco Bell and catering from your favorite local restaurants. I love how they were willing to fly by the seat of their pants, and because they were chill, I think energetically it allowed them the space to, you know, recover very quickly in those scenarios. So kudos to the couple. They're so sweet. I got to know a lot about them. You know, private one-on-one with Madhuri in the quiet space of her room, and you know, just the way that they communicate together, they support and grow and love one another. It's really, really just beautiful, and I love to see it. You know, I love the opportunity to hear about our couples and how well they love and grow and support one another. So anyway, congratulations, Madhuri. You made an absolutely exquisite #Miss Faye Lady Bride, and it was a real honor connecting with you, getting to know you and your sister, your family. We love you so very much. And yeah, let's just do a vow renewal or baby shower, something of that nature. I know her sister Priya had mentioned wanting to have babies immediately, so hopefully here soon in the future. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching.